If you like the video, please consider supporting James Corp on Patreon. Welcome back to week 6, part 2. So, we left off, someone had found that his throat had been crushed, which probably stopped him from screaming out, right?
Yeah, so, excuse me, where we left off, Xerix was leaning over the body. And, Xerix has a tad of, medical background, probably not Ambrian in nature. I mean, because Xerix is one of the, barbarians, but doesn't mean that there's any difference. And a sharing of knowledge is prime to most of those with some sort of medical background. But he noticed that when he was leaning over this skin body, that it looked like the esophagus and the neck had been crushed. And likewise, as he was kind of using his knife or his dagger to kind of poke through the organs, one of the things that clearly stood out was most everything was there except some very interesting items. Several glands, adrenal, thyroid, and pineal glands, are missing. And he's aware in some of his, scriptures that, as he's studied or has been told that these sometimes can be used or have been known to be used um, uh, together as a trilogy in order to counteract corruption. So what we'll do then is move into Elfgarn, who is now also in the room, and I think Elfgarn had something that he was going to try to determine.
Elfgarn, being someone who has killed, skinned, and dressed many animals in his time, would like to approach the hanging corpse and examine whether or not the victim was skinned by, in such a way that would indicate someone who knows what they're doing, either someone who has done this before on animals, or someone who is well versed in the process of skinning a body,
right?
And whether or not a hunter such as Elfgarn or Xerix even would recognize this as being someone who knows what they're doing, rather than a novice.
Not a problem. So, not even going to make you roll for this, or at least this bit of information. As you kind of maneuver in, there's little Oleg there who is still kind of staring at the body, trying to figure out if this is some sort of magic gone bad. You've got Xerix, who's kind of leaned over and kind of picking through the organs, about to make his discovery. You make your way in, and the first thing that stands out to you as you kind of get closer to the body, that the organs that you're looking at on the ground, at the right beneath his head, is what occurs to you as odd is, if whoever did this wanted to get into his organs, completely unnecessary to skin the body. These can be easily removed. And yet you could tell that whoever skinned this person was very meticulous, knew exactly what they're doing, and the skin had been carefully removed bit by bit.
So what you're saying, right? Somewhere out there is someone walking around in a fine human leather coat, yeah?
I'm not saying that, but you could assume that. Go ahead and the Elfgarn, Philip, and Xerix. And well, what's Revnia doing? Just so I can kind of see if she's in this scene yet or not. And then I'm going to make you all give me a roll.
Would I be able to sense anything mystical in nature?
Do you have something specific?
Not really, no.
I mean, the first thing that would come to your mind is, something like this occurs. Someone is obviously has to be carrying some sort of corruption. I mean, to the point where if you were able to see their shadow, that they would either be close or very close to total corruption status. This is something vile and wicked that, even the worst murderers that, you may have, learned about or dealt with in the Templar Crusade against these kind of abominations and horrible aspects, this goes beyond the pale. So, the soul and the shadow of this person would definitely be bubbling with blackness. But as far as anything that you detect or feel magic wise, other than just normally what you would feeling witnessing this, there's really nothing that kind of stands out at this particular moment, just by where you guys are, we're at within the room. So can each one of you give me a vigilant roll, but this will be at a -5. So
Which roll was it? Sorry.
vigilant with a -5.
I'm blind.
Okay. 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 All right. And who's left?
Oh, is that just the three of them, or including me?
Everyone. Since everyone's kind of
Okay.
in the room.
I'm not.
This is just. You're not. Okay. Then we'll wait on.
I'm
you.
standing outside.
Okay. All right. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah, very nice.
I know.
Yeah.
So 2 things occur, Revnia, as you're, kind of absorbing, and you're all doing this. You're all absorbing and dealing with
No.
this scene. Not you, but those in the room, you're dealing with this scene, the best you can. So as you're trying to get grips, once again, the adrenaline is rushing, the heart's beating. When that occurs, people get hypervigilant on a lot of things, and they notice things they normally wouldn't. Revnia, as you're kind of just scanning the room and you're just kind of looking around, you see on the wall, there's a oil painting. Okay. And it's of an older gentleman, black hair, a profile. And you can kind of see that there's a copper plate hanging at the bottom part of the frame, with, the name Master Vernum and a date on it. And the date is recent. It's probably within, a year. This is a new oil painting. Other ones hang next to him of various sizes and shapes. And it seems to be the same man, but just, at different ages. But this one's the most recent one. And you see that this man with, this kind of flowing brown hair, with this flowing black hair, as your eyes kind of rattle back towards the scene, you look towards the floor where Xerix is still kind of going through the internal organs. You can see the hair of this lump of skin lying there beneath this body. The hair of this, whoever this is, their hair is brown. Master Vernum in that painting has black hair. And as you kind of come to that revelation and you piece that together, Elfgarn, as you're trying to, you're looking at this skinning, this flailing of this person, your eyes also come down to the pile of skin right below this body. Something looks odd and off to you, and if you lean in closer to it, you can see that the skinned face of this person, as you see poking through this black hair, are not human ears. These are elf ears. But Master Vernum is a human. So both of you kind of come to this revelation at the same time. So, Maligno, how are you? Are you done retching? Or are you still hanging out in the hallway?
I sort of don't want to go in there because I don't want to. I'm probably no good in there.
Okay. Fair
But
enough. So
I am gonna be like, I'm going to be from the edge over it, from outside, and be like, is there any footprints or anything?
Okay. So you hear that, from Maligno. Does anyone want to, comply with his question? Who will? Philip or Oleg?
I'll look around if there's footprints.
Okay.
That's vigilant.
Mm-hmm.
Minuses.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So. So you see footprints, Oleg. You hear the question sent to you from the hallway from Maligno, and you kind of snap to, and you look around, and immediately you can see that there's bloody footprints leading away from the body towards the window, which is currently ajar. You get close to the window. You can see that the window and frame are unharmed, meaning that it's either was just open or left open, or there could be a chance that Vernon might have let someone in. If you lean out the window, you can see that the window opens up to a set of roofs. Most of the roof line of Thistle Hold, are one next to the other, except in the expansive streets in between. Give me
I'm
another.
probably too short to lean out through the window.
So
I'll
you could find something. You can find a chair. But anyways, give me a vigilant roll at -5.
No, failed.
Okay.
But I'll call out for humans.
Fair enough.
Humans, there is some footprints here close to the window, but I can't see anything. You look.
Yep. So if anyone wants to go to Oleg, just give me another vigilant roll at -5.
I'll let someone who's good at vigilance do it, because I'm not very good at vigilance.
I will call out Maligno. Are you busy, mate?
No.
Can you do me a favour? Can
Yeah.
you go and find the old lady and ask her 2 questions for me?
All right. What are those?
Was Master Vernon an elf? Because I don't know whether he was or not. And secondly, what colour hair does he have?
Okay. All right.
Right after you say to him to ask about the hair, I do mention, judging by this portrait,
Oh,
hair was black.
I didn't notice that large portrait on the wall. I was too busy looking at this elven corpse. And I will say that I'm pretty sure this is an elf, judging by the ears.
Okay.
And I'll sort of point them out in the massive detritus and offal and whatever else you want to call it.
I'll be like, what? That's not Master Vernon then.
I don't think so, but
Let me go ask. I'll head to the kitchen.
Okay. All right. And Xerix, were you doing a vigilant roll at -5?
Yeah, I was trying to follow.
Fair enough. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the footprints just kind of lead to the window, and if you kind of look out, you don't really see anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go with Maligno now, since he kind of hasn't been involved too much. So you make your way down the stairs, and you're going to go talk, with this woman who, at a certain point, had introduced herself as Isbetha. So, and you do find her in the kitchen, sipping on a cup of hot tea, and she sees you as you come into the kitchen, and she immediately puts her, her cup of tea down, and
I'm probably as white as she is.
yeah, and she kind of rushes towards you, and just kind of looks at you and says, "Horrible, horrible scene. Horrible scene. Is the rest of your party? Are they? What are they doing?"
Well, they found some footprints.
Okay.
I've actually been sent to ask you some questions.
She's sure.
So the first question is, was Master Vernum an elf?
And she looks at you, and her face turns from kind of concern to like anger, and she immediately spits on the ground almost at the moment that you say, "Was he an elf?" And she says, "Most certainly not."
Okay. Another question. What colour was his hair?
Oh, well, he had a lovely head of black hair. I mean, it may be starting to gray in spots, but it's been he's very proud of his hair. Maybe a little vain, but most definitely just a shock of black hair.
One final question. Has he been on any trips at all recently? Like, has he left the town? Maybe to go on an expedition somewhere?
Give me a vigilant roll at -1.
Oh, fuck you with your vigilance rolls. I hate vigilance.
Okay.
Well, that's a fucking failure. Yeah, well, that went well.
All right. So, well, she goes, "Well, yeah, I mean, he does go about his various errands, and earlier he came home.
Don't mean
after-
errands. I mean, has he been on any expeditions, like, out of town, like, a serious, for a period of time, longer than, say, a few bloody hours to pop down the shops and get some pork scratchings?
I think he's more of a scampy fries kind of man
Right.
myself.
Yes.
Okay. Give me a persuasive roll.
At -15 or something?
No. Just give me a straight.
Hey!
Okay.
Bang on.
And she kind of glances at you, and she goes, she says, "It's not really been anywhere. It's, how should I put it? It's who's come to visit him." And she gets that kind of scowl on her face again.
Okay, and who came to visit him?
And she goes, one of those disgusting members of the Iron Pact. Forgive me, but he was a member of their sect, or whatever they like to call it. I knew it would come to this sooner or later. And for those, just a reminder, the Iron Pact are the group of elves and some other people of Ambria who feel that this intrusion into the forest is unheard of, and they fight to keep people from going into the forest and return and remove the abominations and corruption from Davokar, because they feel it's the humans' fault is why it's occurring.
Oh, okay. And so he hasn't been on any trips at all. He's just had a visit by the Iron
Pact. Yeah.
The Iron Pact, yes.
This unhealthy nature worshippers, and I should go to the Temple of Prios, and just kind of even saying that name makes me want to just wash my mouth out.
fair enough then. Oh, that sounds awful. It must be awful having to talk to the Iron Pact, right?
Oh, I don't talk to him. I don't talk to them. It's just,
All right.
but you know, but Master Vernum insists that there's, you know, what they do is for the good of all, and it's not my business to, you know, get involved in the personal dealings of, you know, of Master Vernum.
Oh, do you know what the meetings were about?
Oh, I have no clue. I am.
Oh,
like I
come,
said,
come. You must have served them tea.
when he is with those of the pact, it is behind closed doors, and I'm not allowed to interrupt them until he calls. And she takes a pause for a moment, and she goes, "Why did you ask if he was an elf?"
No reason.
Well, there must be some reason. That this does not come out of the blue, does it?
I don't know. They just asked me to ask if they just, you know, just to do with their investigation. I think it's the elven footprints that have been left. You know, they have distinct feet. You see.
Fake news.
They're not goblins.
Okay. She goes, something doesn't seem right, young man. Take me to your friends now.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Come with me then. Maybe they can ask you some questions as well.
All right. So
As we head up the hall, I'll be like, "Yeah, we're in the room that you left," and speak really loudly. "We're in the room that you left us."
So you hear Maligno coming from, it's about 4 stories. So you hear him from the first floor very easily as he echoes up through the empty. I mean, it's empty. There's no students about right now, so you could you know kind of just sneeze and it would echo. Anyways, you're making your way up the steps with Esbetha. All right. So before you get to the entrance of the of his study, the rest of you, are you doing anything else in here? You know, you've got to. I mean, not that you're doing anything wrong. She's
a mix? Do it's a mix of human, or is it only elf? Now, is this a whole body just represent one?
So,
or is it like a mix of, you know, like, can I see? I don't know. Maybe it's not even possible, but can I see like difference, like multiple bodies, maybe?
No, the physiology of this body hanging, if you're asking if it's like made up of multiple ones, it's
just
solid.
one.
Yeah, it's just one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are the rest of you doing as far as you've kind of made a connection because of the picture? Danny's flipped through the organs. Elfgarn has determined that you know, whoever skinned him knew what they were doing.
Did Oleg say he found some footprints?
Yeah.
Yes, footprints that were near this open window.
And I'm too short to look.
Yeah, Elfgarn will make his way over to the window and have a look at these footprints, see if he can determine anything.
I need a vigilant at a -5. Okay.
That would be a no.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see the footprints that, you know, that lead to the window. But as far as other than what's around the window, if you stick your head out and you see the roof line of the rest of Thistle Hold, you don't really see anything that kind of stands out as you kind of peer out and look around at the the different roofs and edges of the buildings nearby. Okay. Revnia, do you do anything while these others are looking?
Considering no one else has had any luck, but there is clearly something off about these footprints, I will have a check out the window as well.
Okay. It's the small feet. It's their small, tiny feet with the elongated, like, shoe with with the twirl on it. That's
Same thing. Just the bloody footprints lead to this window. The window doesn't look damaged. It's open. I mean, there is a lock on it, but like I said, the window is open. No broken glass. The frame seems fine.
Do the footprints lead in or lead out?
Let's see here.
Or is that part of the -5? I'm not sure.
I think they're
the bloody footprints lead away from the body.
Okay.
Tell me when I should scan for corruption and stuff like that.
Okay.
No, I'm telling to the other players.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case. I won't do it right now.
I'd check the old woman if I was you, see if she's corrupted.
Yeah.
Well, for those who have mystical paths, okay, there's technically 3 that can help you in this situation: fortune telling, necromancy, or oracle.
I got necromancy, but we'll wait for it, man.
What kind of goblin are you? I thought you were a tree loving, tree hugging goblin. Why do you have necromancy?
That's the false pretense.
Talk with the dead.
Fair enough. So, let's see here. Could I get a? Oh, where is it here? Okay, so here's what I would like from. So you've all of those who made their way to the window, right? You've all kind of looked, you've peered out, you can see the footprints leading away from the bloody body. You don't see anything outside the window, so is it safe to assume you kind of turn back to the scene of what you're dealing with? And what I would like for everyone to do is give me a vigilant test now that for those who've made their way to the window and you've kind of turned around.
No
And this will be
modifiers?
+2.
+2.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm blind.
Okay. Is that everyone? All right. So, Xerix and Elfgarn, as you kind of turn, you're facing now the doorway that leads out of the room. Kind of parallel to you is his desk. Blood covered on the desk, but it's fairly plain in its in its adornments. Nothing really too much. You see an inkwell, and a couple sheets of paper with nothing on it, but they're covered with blood too. But the both of you kind of spot, laying at the edge of the desk on the floor, is a sheet of paper that's also covered in blood, but you can see the scratchings of ink on it, writing. And if you go to get closer to go pick these up, this is what you see. Okay. Everyone get that? So it's horribly stained with blood. So what little is discernible reads as follows. And whoever would like to elect to read that out loud, be my guest.
I don't even know if I can read.
There's
Is there like a skill in the game?
You know what? I'm drawing a blank on that.
If you scroll under it, it is written in English.
Yeah, but
No, literacy.
Do you
in
have
the
to
game.
have like a skill or a talent that makes that if you can read or not?
Oh, I don't. Let me.
There's not one as
we-
far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I don't think so.
take it in a
Let me
break.
let me check with my Wikipedia. J-Wall, is there one?
I'm pretty sure everyone can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's not Warhammer, Danny.
I take it like like by one of the corners and
Okay.
like put it like this, put it to
Okay.
the light,
mhm.
and then I'm like, "Dear Master Nightpitch, okay." I know that we seldom see eye to eye, but let me I cannot read this. And that the skull of the king was shown to you. Numerous sources have told me, blah, blah, blah. Infects all who touch it, infects with the power of corruption. You appear to have escaped this destructive power. Maybe you never held it, blah, 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 blah. How the atrocities and the killing are connected to all this, I cannot claim to now. But from a reliable source, I have heard that, yes.
Right.
Do Nightpitch, is that like a common naming of elves or, like...
Oh, no.
No.
Nightpitch.
Yeah.
Mayor Nightpitch. The leader.
Would I know that?
You
Dun,
all
dun,
would know
dun.
that. Mayor Nightpitch, the leader of Thistle Hold. Oh,
If
oh
it wasn't
yes.
for those meddling kids, you'd have got away with it as well.
He's the leader of this town. He's the one who essentially brought Nightpitch to the forefront of the wonderful state of cleanliness and organization that you've witnessed. He also, everyone is aware of his wonderful estate on the southern edge of town too. So yes, it's the moment that you hear that last name, it is clear that he must be mentioning him. None of you would know of any other one by the name of Nightpitch if there happens to be one. Now, I've got to ask though, does anyone have alchemy?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. As Xerix is holding this up.
Wait a second.
Yep. Well,
check
we'll
it.
see.
Yeah, I have it. And witchcraft
Boy.
and alchemy.
Wow. So Oleg's our Sherlock Holmes.
Maligno has alchemy as well, but he's not
Okay,
there
well,
yet.
good. That's good. So each of you can give me a cunning test and then get a +1 because of alchemy.
Yeah, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, do you have alchemy too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's who I meant. That Maligno has it.
Oh, Maligno. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
so-
Okay. Well, let's see if Oleg.
Yeah, I succeeded.
Oleg, as Xerix is holding this up and he's reading it, you're looking at this and you see that it's covered in blood, but you're well aware that you could remove that blood without washing away the ink if you just had a bit of vinegar.
Cool. Yeah.
So.
Mr. Xerix, can you
Yeah?
to that letter? I'll look around the room because
I doubt there's any vinegar in the room. I think there'll be
Yeah.
vinegar in the kitchen.
But it's with that at that moment that we'll have Maligno and Ibetha, sorry, come to. You can hear them right outside of the doorway. And
I'm like, are you sure you want to go in there, madam?
something just doesn't seem right, Mr.
Okay,
Mr.
I'll open the door.
Maligno. And as soon as she steps in, she freezes. You see her, and
I'll
her
keep
eyes
pushing
are-
her. I'll keep pushing her in.
And she kind of stumbles a little bit, but her eyes are focused on the body of Master Vernum, and she kind of puts her hand to her mouth, and she just kind of goes, "Oh, poor Master Vernum. What did you do? No one deserves to be like this." And she glances at the rest of you, and Xerix is there holding up that bloodied note or letter that he was reading.
Do you have a vinegar?
Excuse me, young man. Do I have vinegar?
Ah,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I'll head off back to the kitchen to get some vinegar from the kitchen.
And she kind of goes, "Oh, if you did not have that letter and he did not see you in whatever ritual nonsense he was casting, I would throw you all out on your ears right now. Just so uncouth." But she kind of steps timidly forward to the body, and her eyes are just still she turns from you, Xerix, onto him. She just, "Oh, poor Master Vernum. Oh, have you found anything
Madam, I'd like to apologise for my barbarian friend. Words and action are as one.
Yeah, I told you that he was an elf.
No, we need some vinegar to maybe clean this blood off this letter to see if there's anything of importance behind the blood. As regards other evidence, Master Vernon was not an elf, was he?
Again, of course not. What I mean, and she looks at him and she goes, I mean, it's obviously him. And she says, well, I mean, look, and she kind of points to his left hand, and you kind of notice now on his left hand that the left hand's missing 2 digits on his hand. And he said, well, he lost those fingers when he was living with those witches in Davakar, mixing with the Iron Pact. So that's obviously him.
Do we remember if the elves had missing fingers? The ones that we met on the pass?
No.
No, they had fingers.
Yeah. And
can I turn to her and it's like, why have you not turned to the proper authorities?
Well, it was the wishes of the master that if something happened to him, that I was supposed to send this letter out with your description to, one of our envoys, and he was supposed to find you. And I was going to give it some time, but it just, I wasn't expecting you to show up so quickly. So I thought it was all nonsense.
When did this whole horrible thing take place?
Oh, just pretty much right before you arrived. It was just, we discovered the body. And not we, I'm sorry, me. I discovered the body, conscripted an envoy, and you arrived within 2 hours after I found him.
Nice.
And nobody, you have not heard nobody come in, come out in the last couple of hours. Did somebody come and see your master before us?
Well, she goes back again to explain that, what she already told Maligno, that someone, a representative of the Iron Pact, had secretly met with him earlier. That, sorry, just pulling it up. All right, so that after he had come home from running his errands, he tutored a couple students, and he closed himself into his room, which is his usual routine. And as I was making my way downstairs a little bit later, after kind of picking up around here, there was a loud bang, like something had fallen. I rushed up, knocked on the door, and Master Vernon called out and told me not to worry, that there was only the window beating against the heavy winds. And it was silent for a while, and it seemed like a little bit of time passed, and I went to go give him his evening wine and biscuits, and that's when I found him.
I see. And have you noticed anything out of the common of Mr. What was his name again? Sorry.
Burnham.
Mm-hmm. In the past few days, weeks, he looked different, felt different?
And the only thing that he felt different about, that he was concerned about, was this so-called Flayer. And that's when he conducted these rituals and then, wrote down this letter that you have with you. But he seemed content in knowing that, that whatever happened to him would help stop whatever is happening to his beloved Thistle Hold.
Out of character, did she write the letter, or did Mr.
He wrote the letter.
He wrote the letter.
It's in his. Yeah.
She had not seen the letter.
It was read to her. She knew what was on the letter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do
but she
they-
thought it was just nonsense. She
Okay.
really doesn't really believe too much in certain magics, outside of, the the temple of the sun, those things. She's a very pious woman for Prios.
Please,
uh,
if you could help a friend to get the vinegar, that would be great.
Okay. So she tells Maligno where it's at, and so he can rush down and be back in no time. But yeah, just to clarify, the other thing that she mentioned to Maligno is that this elf from the Iron Pack did come to visit, but she's sure that Master Vernum had shut himself in this room, but before this bang that she had described, the elf came to visit before that happened. Didn't recognize him. I mean, he does belong to that horrible sect. So there are people, strangers that she's, honor bound not to mention, that come and go. But this was one that she's never seen before.
go on a break now.
Okay. A couple minutes and then
Yeah.
go on a break.
I can talk to the dead peoples, but we need to think of the questions because they can answer only in yes and no's.
Okay.
I-
So how about the vinegar will come back, and then I will unveil the letter in its entirety. And if you want to read it, then we can go to break. So,
Okay.
Okay. So Maligno,
Right.
you come back
Yeah.
with the vinegar. Yep.
I'll come back with the vinegar.
All right.
Do I
Bring
pour
it
it on?
here.
What's that?
Do I pour
What's
it
that?
on? Because
Bring it here.
Oh no, you want to give it to those who are adept in
Let Oleg.
or Revnia.
Actually, doesn't.
No, he have.
He
He
can
have-
do it.
But
He can do
Midna
it.
has it, not me.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Maligno. Yeah, well, that's right, Maligno. You got it too. So Revnia or Oleg told you what needs to be done. You
I've
can
got
handle
some
it.
salt with me as well, so I'll put vinegar on it and I'll put some salt on it as well.
So there you go. So if you want to read off the letter again in its entirety, then we'll go to break.
Go, Danny, go.
I take the letter after the vinegar and I
And salt.
squeeze it a little bit.
Okay.
And then
Go ahead.
it says, "Dear Master Nightpitch, I know that we seldom see eye to eye, but let me once again try to explain why I believe that Gorak's failed expedition is connected to the current killings performed by the so-called Flayer. I know that Gorak saw out you and that the skull of the king was shown to you. Numerous sources have told me as much, and I realized that a possible link between the murders and the skull is politically delicate. The king's skull infects all who touch it, infects with the power of corruption. You appear to have escaped its destructive powers. Maybe you never held it, which, if so, was wise. My elven friends have told me that their soothsayers dreamed of the dead king at the time when Gorak was parading around town with his cranium. And they have returned to me saying that they are still dreaming, meaning that the corrupting powers of the skull are still active here in Thistle Hold. Precisely how the atrocities and the killings are connected to all this, I cannot claim to now, but from a reliable source, I have heard that the art of flaying is an ancient and painful one, born of darkness. Nevermore the dark, Master Werner. Nevermore the dark?
Yep.
What that's supposed to mean?
Well, we'll find out after the break.
Alright, we'll be back in a minute, guys. Don't touch that dial. Also, if you're enjoying this, like and subscribe.